I'm going to be talking through some of the key aims and decisions behind our history curriculum. Here you can see a quote from the national curriculum. One of the main aims of the history curriculum is to build and secure the pupils' understanding of history as a coherent chronological narrative. This means that they won't simply learn about certain historical time periods or events in isolation, but we want them to be able to have a sense of where this sits within history, allowing them to see the bigger picture. Part of building this coherent chronological narrative is initially spending time looking at what we mean by history and chronology and the difference between past and present. In Key Stage 1, the pupils are first introduced to the concepts of past and present. Here you can see some objects that they might be asked to sort into past and present. This initial understanding of chronology also involves first being exposed to timelines. This begins with simple timelines of their day or important events in their lives, before later placing historical events that they learn about on timelines. Each subsequent history unit always begins by recapping and focusing on the meaning of history and chronology. The pupils then spend time adding to a timeline of previously studied events and time periods. For example, when they begin their unit of study in Year 4 on ancient Greece, they will add the ancient Greek Empire to a timeline, which includes everything they have studied in previous year groups, such as the Stone Age or the Victorian era. They then make comparisons, such as comparing which empire lasted longer or which occurred further in the past. Here is another quote from the aims of the national curriculum. One of our overall curriculum aims is global awareness, as we feel it is important for pupils to learn about the wider world, including people and places outside of their own backgrounds and experiences. One way of celebrating diversity is through ensuring pupils learn about how we have been influenced by other places in the world. With this in mind, one key theme which is embedded throughout the curriculum is migration. Pupils will learn about the impact migration has had on the spread of diversity, of not only people, but of ideas, traditions, religions, and languages. This will help the students to see themselves as global citizens and celebrate diversity. They will first explicitly learn about migration in Year 2 when studying the Windrush generation, and this will be built upon in every unit of every year group. Along with migration, there are a number of key themes and concepts which are revisited and built upon throughout the curriculum, such as the concepts of civilizations, empires, and governments. Let's take a closer look at another key theme. Throughout the curriculum, they learn about the concepts of equality and equity and explore how different people have been treated at different periods in history. In Year 1, they learn about Rosa Parks and the civil rights movement. In Year 2, they look at the differences in the lives of the rich and the poor during the Victorian era. In Year 2, they will also study the Windrush generation and their mistreatment when they initially migrated to Britain. In Key Stage 2, they will look at hierarchies and differences in power in Viking, Anglo-Saxon, Sumerian, and Roman societies. In Year 5, they will study the transatlantic slave trade and Britain's role in it. In Year 6, they learn about the persecution of the Jewish population during the Holocaust, as well as the Russian Revolution and Stalin's reign of power. Finally, we want to ensure that our pupils are regularly thinking like historians. Knowledge can be broadly divided in two ways. Firstly, the actual facts and concepts, and secondly, the way that people learn about a subject. While we have a core knowledge, such as key individuals and facts that the pupils learn, a huge part of understanding history is this second type of knowledge, how historians learn about the past. In history lessons, the pupils regularly look at primary and secondary sources to think hard about what assumptions or inferences historians might make about the past. For example, looking at artifacts from the ancient Sumer in Year 4, they can think about what historians would have learnt about the ways Sumerians lived. The pupils regularly look at the range of sources across the curriculum. Some examples include artifacts from the settlement of Skara Brae, letters between Rosa Parks and Martin Luther King Jr., the Bayeux Tapestry, and Nazi and USSR propaganda,